Hi, back again for video 19 at Bute Road. Thank you once again for joining me, and in this one we're going to cover some hedges and trees and bushes and breaking up the distant hills so that they actually look like separate fields as opposed to just a blur in the background. So we won't waste any more time chatting, we'll just get on with it now. It was filmed as a continuation of the previous one, but I've broken it in two because it was far too long. It was almost an hour or so. Here we go with part two, really, of the hills and valleys, etc. So let's try now, and we're going to put in a little bit of distant hills and that sort of thing, and we'll see what we come out with on that. So I'm changing brushes now, and I'm going to my the rigger brush, originally invented for doing rigging on ships, of course, in the early days of artist paintings when they were doing those sort of things. So I'm adding quite a bit more of the blue, French ultramarine blue, to the mix I've got. So we're putting the blue in with there, and we're making a mixture on there that's going to be dark, and then on the distance here start a bit central, and we're going to have again that's a little bit too dark. It's amazing how just putting a little bit on it comes up and you think you've got the right colour, but clearly no. So there we're putting in what would be a woodland, again keeping the top of the trees fairly level, because from this distance you would see they would be fairly level, and we're coming down just to give a bit of shape to the woodland there. And then I can add with that just a little tiny bit of the yellow just in there, such as that, and then that will blend in and go up on there. And then we're going to bring that woodland down like a hedgerow, following the contours down there, but it's disappearing now behind that hillside. And then can do the same thing coming up over here. So we've got a hedgerow coming up over here. Don't always take your hedgerows right there on top, again that would look wrong, but you want some trees in there, and then just feather that one out. And then when you're doing this part, the rigger brush likes to be as wet as you can. So again with the rigger we're coming down there, and then on this field here we're going to go up, and that's going to go up, and it's going to have again some trees on it, and a bit of a woodland up on there. Just adding a little bit more paint, and so there. Also, you don't want your trees at the back here to be too tall. Now that hedgerow I'm taking along the top of that hill, and then coming on through. So, and again your hedgerows define the contour of the land. So where we want the valley down here, we can define that by the hedgerows that we're going to have, and the colours that we'll use. So we can, oops, I didn't mean to do that, but what we'll do there, I'll put in a copse. There we go. So we'll come in through there and we'll bring that on down. So the little copse of trees in there. Dabbing the brush on at the moment just to give a little bit of a rough top edge, but we don't want it too rough, and we don't want it like it would be in the foreground. just on this bit here, I've gone in with almost neat French ultramarine blue. I want to give depth to the green, and French ultramarine is an absolutely beautiful colour for that. So you can add it to the foliage, and we're in an area there that is getting closer. We want a straight edge along the bottom. Always try and get a straight edge along the bottom of your hedgerows, because when you're looking from a distance they are nearly straight. I saw an artist many years ago called Terry Harrison. Sadly he's passed away now, but he was doing a painting demo at Fareham in Hampshire, and one thing he said when he's doing hedgerows like this is to talk to himself and say hedge, bush, tree, bush, hedge, tree, and keep on varying what you say, and that way you'll never get two hedgerows that look the same, because you'll never say bush, hedge, tree, tree, hedge, bush, or whatever in the same order. So yeah, quite a good little tip that, really. So if you were doing that, then it would certainly help. And then, as I say, smooth off the bottom edge just to get a nice little contour there. Again, a wet brush is far better, and you can get a nice shape with that then to pull up through. That needs to be darker because we're getting near the foreground now. So, oh, I picked up some white. Didn't mean to do that. Dear oh dear. Should have been French ultramarine, but there we go. So we'll put a bit more French ultramarine in there, and pick that up. And then what I'm going to do, oh god, where did I get that white from? I'm picking white up. It's because I'm not looking at the palette whilst I'm talking and looking at the painting. So there we go, some blue in there again. We'll take that bit of a kink out. I didn't like that. I'll show you a piece in a minute I'm not happy with that I'm going to redo. What I'm going to do now, because we're getting nearer to the foreground, I want to pick up some brighter colours to add to it. So I'm picking up some yellow, and it's the lime yellow, and I'm just dabbing that on at the top edge where the sun would catch. If I'm doing this as a sort of painting, what I would do is just dab it with my finger. I don't know if it's, yeah, there we go, and it just blends it in a bit more. So you can just add a bit of yellow to the top edge like that, and then just if you're careful with it, then it just gives it a little bit of light to the trees. You can do it with a brush. You could do it with a stiff brush if you had a stiff brush to hand. I've got one here that is a bit of a stiff brush, and I could just it's stiff and it's dry, so I can stipple that on, and it's not going to give too bad an effect. In actual fact, just looking at that, and then I'm actually just doing that on that field there, and that's actually quite a nice effect on that field. It's just brought that out. So yeah, you can use all sorts of methods if you want. There are various tricks, shall we say, that you can use. So yeah, so we'll carry on doing this now, and we'll come back. Oh, I was going to show you this piece over here I'm not happy with. Basically it's that. It looks like it's too much of a hillock. It looks ridiculous. So the way I'm going to overcome that is I'm going to make the whole of that area a woodland. So I'm now purposely adding white and French ultramarine to my brush. A lot more white in there yet. There we go. So what I'm going to do is this area here, we'll get the colour right in a minute. Again, with the colours, it's a lot of playing around. That's too strong. So we just want a happy medium. It looks different on the palette to how it looks actually on here. So there we go. So if I bring that in and blend that in there, you can see I've picked up other colours on the brush and the fact that there's green on one side of the brush and there's almost a whitey colour on the other, I can blend them in over the top of each other and make something of this in a minute. And then I might even add a bit of yellow to this in a moment, because it would follow the contour of that hillside there, and just bring that across there, and we'll take it up there, so that little bit of greenery there still shows. And then what we'll do, we'll just add, I'm picking up some French ultramarine now, putting that in there like so. Level this top off a bit more. In fact, we'll take that right the way across to this other woodland up here. I think we'll have that as quite a bit of woodland there, and we'll take out that top area there, and I'm going to take out that now down there. So I change my mind as I go. It doesn't hurt to do that. So we're going up into there. Now I'm going to pick up some neat yellow, so I've got some neat yellow on the brush, and I'll put that in a few places like that, and that will be as though the sun is shining on that part of the hillside. And then I'm going to get this dry brush that I had earlier, and I'll just blend that in. There we go, and we've now got I'll just pick up a little bit of French ultramarine on my other brush. So there's some parts there, this area here I want darker. I want this area here to be quite dark. So I'm just putting in some French ultramarine along the bottom of there, and you can add it in patches as well. If we do that and then we blend it, we're blending the top in, and we've got that, and then I just need to tidy up that bottom edge, and we do that by simply extending down a little bit further. Cloth, wipe that off, pick up a little bit more of the blue, and we just come on down, and we just go through there, and again just touching it into there. There we go. So that's now tidy that hillside up a bit there, and I'm a lot happier with that now. That's come out really, really well. Right, okay, that was it for part 2, and when we come back to part 3, there's the hillside at the back I'm not happy with. It looks a bit too busy. I'm going to tidy that up, and then we're going to do the trees that are at the top of the road where the little cottage was that we showed at the beginning of the previous video. So some trees to do, some tidying up of hillsides, and general finish off, and then a look around on the next video. So I hope you'll join me for that, and thank you once again. Bye now.